In this video, I will tell you what are services in ROS2 and what is the concept behind using services in ROS2. So far, what we have been doing is that we did a lot of programming involving topics, and then we created publishers and subscribers. But services are different than topics. We will see that how is it different in this video. I will give you some simple examples services that how does it distinguish from topics and what is the concept behind services. So we did this programming for a football match between Real Madrid and Barcelona, and it was simulated for 90 minutes, and it showed us every minute. For example, at minute 1 it was 0-0, at second minute it was 0-0, and so on till 90th minute. We have done this code and you can find it on this channel. Now, how does services work? Actually, services is different than topic. For example, you are watching a football match and your friend comes over to you and asks you, what is the current score? So you respond to him or her that it's 1-0 to Real Madrid or 1-0 to Barcelona. You just specifically talk about that particular event or particular real-time information. You don't tell him that at first minute it was 0-0, then at second minute it was 0-0, and so on. You just simply talk about, for example, he asks you at 60th minute and it might be 1-1, right? So this particular event is called using services. So that is the concept behind services, and that's the difference between services and topics, because in topics we saw that we had the simulation for each and every second and so on till 90th minute. But for services, actually, we have to call that particular event at that real-time moment. So if someone asks you, what is the current score? And you tell him that it's Real Madrid 1, Barcelona 1. So you just simply tell about that score, right? So this is actually services. And for topics, we have to simulate each and every minute. I will give you another example, which is much more easy to understand. You will and grab the concept about services even more. For example, you visit a restaurant. There is a restaurant, and you visit there, and you ask for a pizza, right? So what happens is that you tell that guy at the counter that I need pizza, and then he prepares the pizza for you, and then there might be a screen, and on screen they will display pizza is ready, right? So what happened here is that one particular event happened. You asked for pizza, they prepared it and gave it to you, right? It was not like this, that the screen was continuously publishing pizza is ready, pizza is ready, pizza is ready, and so on, because that will be a loss for them. The message is only displayed when pizza is ready. So they might have one customer and they may have to prepare a lot of pizzas, right? So instead of that, the concept of services appears over here. A client goes to server and requests, for example, you request for pizza, and then server responds and give you that pizza after preparing it for you. So you can see the difference once again. This is about topic. In topic, what would happen is that this screen would continuously display pizza is ready, and so on. But we don't need that. What we need is that we need a concept of service for that. For example, customer goes and asks for, give me one pizza. Restaurant says, okay, we will prepare it for you and say, it is your pizza. Okay, so just one request and one response. One request and response. Okay, so this is the concept behind services. So the major difference between topic and services is that topic has continuous data flow. You can see that on the display they will have pizza is ready and so on. But services, it is based on requests and response. So what happens is that in summary, if I have to summarize it, we have a service server right? So, and then we have a client, which would be you in a restaurant. So you would request for a service and then they would respond to you. So when we create services in ROS2, we actually have two major concepts. One is service server, the node that provides the service. For example, restaurant. Okay. Service client, the node that requests something from the server. So that would be you. So in summary, services and topics are two different things. In topics, what happens is that we have continuous data flow. In services, when we request something, then the service server responds to that. So this is for particular event. Okay. So services in ROS2 is coded or programmed when we talk about some particular event from some simulation event or some real-time event. So that's the time where we'll be using services. Example, I gave you the example of a football match. In a football match, a friend can ask you, what is the score? You simply tell him that score at that minute. You are not going to tell him that at first minute it was 0-0, at second minute it was 0-0, and so on. So the concept is at a particular time, you ask for some request and then you get a response. So this concept is really summarized by services. And in services, we have two major parts. One of them is this server, another one is client. So I gave you an example. In server example, we have restaurant, and for client, we have the example of you. So this is a brief concept about services. If you have any question, let me know in the comments and we can discuss it further.